This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, February 19th, 2007, and this is episode 220 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm your host, Matt Adler of MGMstudios.org. I'll pause for all of you to type it and join the site. Our next panelist is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome, Len.
Heidi-ho, Matt.
A classic Len entrance, if there ever was one.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Also on the show is my boy, Mikey Newell.
Hey!
On Radio. Welcome, Mike.
I'm the boy. What's happening? Yo?
Hey, know your
Nothing?
role, Mike.
Know your role, Ringo.
Am I the Ringo of this troupe?
No, we went through this, remember?
Also on the show today is Darcy Vance, a superb researcher, if I've ever seen one, for the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome, Miss Vance.
Thank you.
If you've ever seen one.
That's right.
Because we look just like everyone else.
I was going to say, yeah, okay, all right.
We blend.
I was trying to figure out if you were judging researchers by their looks, Hochberg, but...
Yeah, well, I mean, she's no
Sarah. Get into that one, will you?
But she's a venerable member of Team Matt. I mean, that just puts you in a different echelon.
There you go, Team Matt. All right.
Also on the show today is Mike Scopa of MousePlanet.com. Oh, Mike.
Yo, Matt, please gather your personal belongings from the pouch in front of you and remain seated until the rover comes to a complete stop.
I hate that ride.
Oh, he's scared. He's scared.
Scary.
He's scared.
Before we get started with today's show, I wanted to make a quick shout-out to my other boy, who's not named Newell, G240. He's got a great little website called People for the People Mover. It's for people who want to bring back the People Mover attraction to Disneyland. And you can find more information at peopleforthepeoplemover.org, link in the show notes. And while we're talking about attractions that are no longer there, we're talking today about attractions in the Magic Kingdom that are no longer here. We were going to do Epcot, but between Newell and Len, it was just going to be Horizons Fest. And they were just going to, lament over it, and Newell would start playing the music, and Len would go crazy. So for now, we're doing the Magic Kingdom. And we're of course talking about attractions that are no longer there, not attractions we wish were no longer there. So please no Stitch references. So, Scopa, when you hear Magic Kingdom attractions that are no longer there, what do you think of?
Well, the first one that comes to mind, Matt, is the Mickey Mouse Revue, which was housed in the same building that we now find Mickey's PhilharMagic. And what's kind of interesting is that Mickey's PhilharMagic is sort of a 21st century version of the Mickey Mouse Revue. For those who have never seen
that's
Mickey
a
Mouse,
great analogy.
Yeah, basically
I'm so
going
to rip that off for the book. Okay, no one remember this episode.
Ka-ching, ka-ching.
You just stop listening right now.
The Mickey Mouse.
Hold on. Talk slow. What were you saying? Go ahead.
The Mickey Mouse Revue was a show in which the guests would watch on stage audio animatronic figures based on Disney animated characters. And I believe it was the very, very first attraction that had audio animatronic figures based on animated characters. Now, when you think about it, what these characters did is they had excerpts from movies and songs. So what you would have up there is you would have Alice in Wonderland singing with the flowers. You would have Cinderella and Prince Charming. You would have the Three Caballeros singing, and basically they were showing you were entertained with songs from famous songs from famous Disney films. So now move that 30 years forward, and now we've got Mickey's PhilharMagic, and it's the same kind of thing. We're hearing famous songs from famous Disney films. So in essence, it's just they just fast.
I'm so going to rip off this whole idea, this whole, blatantly.
They moved it to Tokyo Disneyland, I think, in 1983, and I believe it's still there. But it's always something that I've missed because it's kind of neat to see. I mean, where else do you see in? Trying to think now, where else in Walt Disney World can you find audio animatrons of some Disney animated characters? You know,
Stitch. That's about it, I think.
There were. Trying to think who was up there. I mean, Mickey was up there, and Goofy, Daisy, Pluto. I remember there was even a Dumbo. There was the Mad Hatter, the March Hare and the Dormouse from Alice in Wonderland.
Matt, we're gonna have to do show notes for Widen Your World.
Yeah,
The website. Make sure you put it in there because it's Mike Lee runs the website. Does a fantastic job.
Yeah,
chronicling.
It's great because I go there and it just brings back memories. So that's the one that brings back memories, man. I mean, Mickey Mouse Review. That building also had Magic Journeys when Magic Journeys moved from Epcot to the Magic Kingdom, and then eventually it had Legends of the Lion King, and then it was replaced with Mickey's PhilharMagic. But I think it's really ironic that what we have is the same type of attraction. It's just been updated to the present day.
I know which attraction Newell misses the most. It's going to be If You Had Wings, right?
Oh, that was my choice too.
How did you know?
See, I know Newell.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
Talk about it if you.
It's funny. Back in the day, I'm talking about
Still
19.
plays it on Mouse World Radio too much to my chagrin. I can't get track.
Why? What's wrong with it?
You really?
Oh, it's all those old tracks that he plays, and I've heard them so many times. But I digress. I'm taking away from Newell's thunder. Please continue, Mike.
But you know what was great about that ride? And back in the day, when I first went in 1980, that was one of the attractions that were free. You didn't need a ticket.
Right.
So you can go on that over and over and over again for free, and it was one of the best rides.
I mean, I got off the ride, and I always wanted to. It made me want to travel.
It did.
So it was brilliant in its. I guess for people who sort of got the attraction, it was brilliant in the way that it did just quick little scenes of all around the world. And I'm telling you, if they would have sold airline tickets, as you got off the flight, you'd have been like, okay, I gotta go.
I was dying to go to Mexico when I was 13
I
years
know,
old.
remember it?
This is the one that was sponsored by Eastern Airlines, right? Not Delta.
Right,
Started
Eastern
off
first.
as Eastern, right, and then went on to Delta. But I mean, if you look at it, sort of, it's El Rio del Tiempo is sort of like the same ride, but on water in a boat, whereas this one was riding a clamshell-like vehicle. But it was fascinating. Nothing high tech about it. It was remarkably detailed. The scenes were memorable. I actually have someone's. I bought someone's home movie of it off of eBay.
Did you
where
really?
They said that they had the complete attraction on video just so I could see it again, and it brought back memories.
That's awesome. I miss it. I miss it so much. Much better than Buzz Lightyear, I think.
Yeah, I mean Buzz Lightyear. Buzz Lightyear ride a few times. If You Had Wings, and then the later Dream Flight, Delta Dream Flight, was one of those attractions that rarely crowded in Tomorrowland, and my sister and I just loved going on it.
Darcy, what attractions do you miss at the Magic Kingdom?
Well, I know Mr. Toad was always popular with my generation.
Ooh, good choice.
So, yeah, because he was always small and crazy and wild. So.
Yeah, Mr. Toad. I don't have quite the affinity that some people have for it, but it was a really good attraction. And what do you think, Darcy, of the Pooh ride? Do you think it's
It's not. I mean, it's cute for little kids, but it's not the same intensity that Mr. Toad was.
Yeah. It's something when old attractions come to mind, it's kind of weird. It's not really a gone attraction, but it's FedEx sponsored Space Mountain. For some reason, I can't wrap my mind around other sponsors for FedEx. I always just see the purple and orange that's everywhere. Like
really
in the final scene when you're off the attraction, you're on the escalator.
Yeah.
And there's the dog has the bones that came out of the FedEx box.
The lab retriever.
Yeah, I mean it's just FedEx to me always just stuck like as that's supposed to be the sponsor for Space Mountain.
Do you know who the original sponsor of Space Mountain was?
RCA.
RCA, right?
In fact, that was my attraction. It was the RCA Home of Future Living in Space Mountain.
That's right.
You're a fan, Len, of also in Innoventions, the original one. When you had actually things that actually were from the future, not from Best Buy.
Well, I remember when Innoventions first opened, they had a they actually had a game where you had to guess 4-digit binary numbers, and do their decimal equivalents, and invariably my goal is to get them all right. But I digress.
Such a nerd.
I know, I swear to God, I was a programmer back in the day. But the thing about the RCA Home of Future Living was to look back and see how much of the stuff that was advanced, 30 years ago that we actually have right now. Like, apparently the big screen TV was, it was supposed to be some sort of technological cutting-edge thing, and I guess it was back then. Now, it's funny because everyone has one, right? People have, they've got, video cameras, throughout the house, which they thought, again, was something that would be really futuristic back in the 70s. The interesting thing that I thought was no one predicted that the amount of space you need to store media would shrink so much. So you recall that in the Home of Future Living, everyone was playing these huge silver video discs instead of memory cards.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Kind of stuff. Yeah, so it's interesting that things got bigger, like TVs, but the computer technology did not get smaller.
Did you like that attraction at all? It seems like your alley.
Oh, absolutely, it's great.
One of the attractions that I was talking about FedEx and Space Mountain. The other one that for some reason, I like TTA, but doesn't Wedway People Mover have such a better ring to it?
Yeah, Wedway People Mover. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was an attraction that I enjoyed. Scopo, what's another attraction that you missed?
Let's see, another attraction.
I remember as a kid going on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yeah, that was okay. It's funny because I'm not sure if I'd want to ride that today. I do remember running. Let's see. I do remember riding the swan boats, and that was kind of neat. Going around the waterway around the castle. We used to get on the boats down below where the Plaza restaurant is, and we used to ride them right near the castle, like through the moat and whatever. That was pretty nice. That was way back in the 70s, 1970s. But that was pretty good, and I to this day I have no idea why they stopped that. Must be a reason. That was one of those like A ticket rides. But that's one that I remember. It's one of those that, it's an attraction that I did once, and I never did it again because I think it was there. Well, it was funny because
20 minutes.
The next time I went down there, it was gone.
They crushed the ride vehicles as soon as you stepped off. Get the hell with this.
But that's one that I remember.
One that I really miss. I mean, to this day, every time I walk by, it's empty space, and it's not an attraction, but it's a restaurant. The Adventureland Veranda. Remember, Kikkoman used to sponsor it. It's one of the few places in the Magic Kingdom or in Disney World in general. You used to be able to get egg rolls outside of a cart.
Yeah.
You guys ever try that?
I remember a long time ago for that.
I mean, the styling was just completely different. The menu items were, you could get fried rice, you could get sweet and sour hot dog.
Why don't they bring that back instead of doing this noodle station thing? Well,
I mean, that was their first attempt at Asian, and it was just so interesting. Remember, you could get a teriyaki burger.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at the pictures now on Widen Your World. And this is it seems so odd these days to have something like that over there, but I think it's a good point. Having something like that would be.
But it would fit in well with the theme of Adventureland, yeah. And plus, it's different food.
Yeah. Oh, anything. Darcy is the poster child of food, yeah, of getting
exactly.
something other than burgers in the Magic Kingdom.
Or kids' meals.
Kids' meals, yes, right.
I once did get a macaroni and cheese egg roll from the egg roll stand, and it was
have you ever had fried macaroni and cheese?
Best thing ever.
Fried mac and cheese is good.
This was an egg roll, though, so it was kind of the same thing, but it was great.
Fried mac and cheese, very good. And that does it for Food Network.
Hey, Noel, what's another one?
I'm surprised nobody brought up the Skyway buckets.
Nah.
Oh, my wife used to love
Spitfest.
Besides that, wasn't it the only one in the world that had a 90-degree turn?
Was it?
Did it?
I just remember the spitting.
I could be wrong.
I just remember the spitting.
The spit. What, spitting? Actually giving the spit or receiving the spit?
definitely bombs away.
Mm,
Pilot to
nice.
bombardier.
That's why I'm afraid of heights, is because my dad would shake the whole cart, and I would be under the seat going, "Daddy's trying to kill us. Daddy's trying to kill us."
That's one would do.
So I don't miss that ride.
That used to be
that's
the
funny.
initiation into the unofficial guide researching team. But
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, jump. All your friends are jumping. Go ahead and jump. Come on. You can make it into the 20,000 Seas Lagoon. You can make it. Come on. Come on.
We
Get a
need
good
it
push.
for research.
Exactly. We'll see how long it takes to fall. We're testing the gravity here.
9.8 meters a second. It's not a gun. It's
How
still
about that?
staying.
All right, still pretty much constant. Okay, well, thanks.
Oh man. There's a lot of I'm looking through the list. Some of them I didn't even know existed. There are. What about Fantasy in the Sky? Kobe, you love the
Oh,
fireworks.
that's an idea. Fantasy in the Sky. I remember an old parade called Zippity Doo Dah Parade. Yeah, those things. I sometimes long for that Fantasy in the Sky. Once in a while to bring it back.
What about the Main Street Cinema, where they used to show cartoons? Remember Mickey Mouse cartoons?
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about the
What was-
Penny Arcade?
The Penny Arcade, yes.
Yeah.
A couple of great Main Street tricks. Those were good, though, because during a hot day, you could go in there and sit down and just kick back and watch a bunch of cartoons.
Yeah.
You can grab something from the bakery.
That's a great point, one. The
Fabulous.
cinema was great. I mean, to the VMK store or whatever that thing is over there. I mean, it just
doesn't do it.
It doesn't do it. No, you're
It's not the
right
same,
about being able
right,
to
right.
stop in there.
Good times, good times.
Penny Arcade.
time.
Wow.
How about a Flight to the Moon, or what came after that?
It was
The
just
old
okay.
Space Mountain. I can remember right in the old Space Mountain where you didn't have the harness, where you could actually, if you wanted to decapitate yourself, you could actually stand up in those.
Because that's always good for a vacation.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
true. Yeah. Yeah, it used to go faster back then too. And there are a couple of attractions that you can almost say they're still there, but they've been updated. I mean, even Carousel of Progress was a little bit different than it is now.
The Tiki Room.
Tiki Room, yeah, that's a good point.
Well, that's it for us today. A quick reminder that our next live show is coming up on Sunday, February 25th, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. All the details on how to listen, how to call in, and all that good stuff can be found at our website at www.today.com. If you want to find older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at www.today.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and Darcy Vance, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.